A little mood music for you. My next book review is about Dirty Wars. It's by Jeremy Scahill, author of Blackwater. And that is actually what drew me to this book. I was at the Pacific Palisades Library, who I'd like to thank for having this really nice hardcover copy. And I picked it up. I was a big fan of Blackwater. And it is a book I did not finish. I got less than halfway through, but I bought it. I was just a supporter of it. Very anti-Bush when it came out, and still am. And buying it was like a protest. You know, I wanted to buy this book while this guy was in office. And yeah, Blackwater. I mean, for those familiar, these guys, you know, killed a bunch of innocents in Iraq, and obviously it's not everyone in Blackwater who are now under a different name, but it was some really bad people who were with their company at the time. And so this is the follow-up, Dirty Wars, and it is a book that just totally changed my outlook on how I view the presidency, and it's something that's never happened to me until this time. I was reading a bunch of other material, novels and whatnot, and just kind of struggling to get through them. And I just dropped all the other stuff I was reading and just started reading this because it just drew me in. And it took me a couple months. Like I always say, I'm not really a fast reader, but it's a book to change your outlook. I mean, I voted for Obama twice. At the end of this book, I decided I did not like Obama. I mean, it's a little late for that now. You know, Trump's the president at the moment. You know, I mean, from now on, I mean, I'm just never going to look at any president the same if they have certain views on the military, and if they will really continue military practices that allow so many civilians to be killed, like children and women and men and just whoever, old people, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's heavy stuff, and you know, like Trump just he ordered you know, a bunch of Tomahawk cruise missiles fired at Syria, and that's about like 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles, and they don't just, like, you know, they don't just hit something on the dot, like they don't hit a dime on the head, and you know, they scatter. They're like you know, I guess they I don't know what you call them, concussion rounds, or just like where they're you know, they're like broad blasts. When one of those missiles hits, they have like chain reactions, and the shrapnel goes everywhere, and like everyone just gets obliterated. And well, anyway, I mean, I just ask you, like, everyone, to read this guy Scahill. I mean, he's freaking amazing, and he actually went shoulder to shoulder with like African warlords and like a bunch of scumbags, but really just to hear their story, and you know, politicians and people who were in the military, or are in the military, or are in special ops. And it's just really, you know, like, I spent so much time absorbing these stories that I can't just put into words. And I got to go to Ohio pretty soon, and I'm trying to show you the pictures. I'm going to go to Ohio pretty soon, so I got to pack and get out of here and finish the review. So anyway, read Dirty Wars. You know, it really tells you a lot about, not only about military men, but also terrorists, and like Al-Qaeda and these organizations. And it really shows you the reason why they become radical. And really, like, there's a lot of radicalism within some of these militant type, you know, branches, how they operate. I'm not saying the military, I'm not against the military, you know, but the way that the politicians structure, like, and restructure different military branches, and like special ops and the CIA, and You know, that's all under like different forces, under different push and pull of people trying to manipulate, and different people working together. And you know, this book, Dirty Wars, really sheds a whole lot of light on it. So I really recommend you read it, and it'll change your politics. I mean, if you like war, you might like think civilians dying is okay if you're just really like war at any cost, or. But I mean, you can't point a bunch of guns at people's ideas and what they're thinking in their head. And you really should read this book. And whether you're conservative, Republican, I mean, some of my family are Republicans. I'm really like, or not really Republican, but you know, they vote that way. I like, you know, I have a lot of Democrats or like more liberals in my family too. And now I just don't care anymore. I was more left for a long time, but when I see all these presidents and how they just, whether a Democrat or Republican, and they're okay with war on certain levels when it's waged dirty, that is not cool with me. So my outlook, thanks to this book, is forever changed. And yeah, it's a must read. It's about, well, like I said, I got to get out of here, but it's about like, oh man, it's like, I don't know. It's like over 500 pages, like 520 something pages. But then like there's an additional 150 pages, and these are all just sources. So if you don't believe this stuff, I mean, there's like 150 pages of like academic notes, not even academic notes, but just like research and sources and different interviews. And so like this can't be made up, man. I mean, and this guy really like risked his life, went to the battlegrounds, and went shoulder to shoulder with warlords. He went into war zones. He talked to people who maybe weren't supposed to be saying anything or just had to go anonymous, and really brings to you like a whole world of information about how wars are waged these days and how they were waged years ago. And it's recommended. Also, if you haven't read that, maybe read some of Blackwater first. And also, this author has a new book that I missed. It's from a year ago. It's called The Assassination Complex. I'll look into that too. This one came out in 2013, and I was late to the jump, and so I missed it. But I read it now. Just read it in a couple months. Like I said, slow reader, but got through it. Yeah, check it out. Dirty Wars. Thank you for your time. Music.